Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I'll be helping you out how to disable a radio button when you are using JavaScript. So suppose in your website you have some condition like wherein you want the user to select some option and then there should be some radio buttons, and when and where the user selects the option, like let's say yes or no. So if the user selects no, then the radio button should be disabled. The user should not be able to use the radio buttons. Okay, so how to do that actually? So first of all, I have started off with the body section wherein I have just given a header which is disabling the radio button using drop down. Okay, now here I have just created a drop down list. Okay, so here is a drop down list, so which is inside form. Okay, so how this will actually look like, so it will be written like a title will be there, which are you a developer? Okay, fine, are you a developer would be written. Okay, and underneath that there would be a drop down list. Okay, wherein you need to select from either yes or no. Okay, that is your drop down list. Fine, so here if you see, I have given a heading that is are you a developer inside the h3 tag. Okay, and then with the help of select tag I have my id as my answer, and then on change verify the answer. Okay, that means if you're selecting yes, then it has to be verified. If you are selecting no, then also it has to be verified. Okay, my options, so I'm using the option tag in order to give the option like yes and no. Okay, so in a drop down, whenever you are creating a drop down where you have the options to choose from, so you can write you can create the code for the drop down, like there would be a box. Okay, and inside the box it would be written choose. Okay, so when you click on choose, there would be drop downs coming up. Fine, so drop downs would be yes and no. Okay, when it is related to yes or no. Okay, so this way you can add on your options. Now if you have multiple options from there to choose, you can just use the option tag and then you can put on your values over there. Okay, like whether it's apart from yes or no. Fine, so that is all about a form which I have created for the drop down list. Fine, next comes up when suppose in this particular coding, if suppose you select that yes you are a developer, then at that point of time you have to select your preferred programming language. Okay, so underneath that there would be, I have included a p tag which says if yes, choose the preferred programming language, wherein your radio button comes up into action. Okay, so I've just created three labels. So the labels which has the input type of the radio button and the name of the programming language is given like C++, JavaScript and Angular. Okay, these are some programming languages. Fine, so these are normal, like the elements. So input type is radio, name is programming, id is C#, you can give yours whatever you're using, and the value is also C#. Okay, similar to JavaScript JS, and then Angular is Angular. Fine, so now these two in the body part, wherein, so what happens basically in the output, first of all this comes up in your header. Okay, and then you have a subheader h3 wherein it's there are you a developer will come up, and then there will be a drop down list created with an option to choose from yes and no. So if you are selecting yes, then only you will get an option to choose your preferred programming language from these options C hash JavaScript and Angular. So you can select from the radio button because the type of these labels are radio. Fine, but if you select no from the drop down, then the radio buttons will be disabled. You won't be able to select any of the preferred programming language. So this is how this part of the code would work. Fine, then you have to add on the JavaScript to it. Okay, now this is where the JavaScript comes up here. Okay, so what does I have done in the first line? So it's actually I have taken a function which will verify my answer. Okay, so verify my answer means if my answer is yes, then only the radio buttons will be enabled. Otherwise, if my answer is no, then it will be disabled. Okay, so here Inside the function, what I have taken, I have first of all used the document.getElementById, by ID, and I have called my answer from right over here inside this. Okay, the ID I have selected from there. Okay, the HTML element. And then inside another variable, that is result, I'm just storing the index of the options. Okay, that is from the list, yes and no. And then you have to run an if and else. That means first of all you have to check. So if the result is equal to 0, that or result is equal to no, that means user has selected that he or she is not a developer. Then at that point of time, what will happen? All the radio buttons for all the labels which you have given right over here in the body part, that will be disabled. Okay, because you have selected no. So same thing, document.getElementById, C#.disable. So everything will be disabled. Okay, and you have to mention it as true. Fine. Otherwise, in the else part, what will happen? Same, this particular line will be as false. Okay, that means the user has selected the option yes. That means the radio button should be enabled so that user can select from the radio button which is the preferred programming language for the user. Okay, so that is how you can create the whole code for disabling or enabling a radio button. Okay, so let's say I just run this off. Okay, I save the whole, and it is Windows, so let me open this. Okay, now if you see here, first of all, the header came up, that is disable radio button using drop down. Then the H3 which we have mentioned, that is are you a developer. Okay, now here is the option which came up which says choose. Okay, so if I click on choose, there are drop downs yes and no. Okay, so if I click on yes, then you will be able to choose the preferred language as a developer. So suppose I choose JavaScript. Okay, so you see the radio button is now enabled when you selected yes. Fine, but if you select no, then at that point of time all the radio buttons are disabled. You cannot click and select any one of them. Okay, so that's how you can disable a radio button when you're using it in your website according to your criteria of the elements which you're using in your website. Suppose you want your user to be contacted via email as well as phone number. Okay, in that case also you can use the radio button functionality. Like if they selected phone number, then at that point of time email can be disabled. If they are selecting both, then at that point of time stuffs like that can be used. The radio button can be used at that point of time for disabling it, so that you can use it more proficiently in your website. Okay, so that's how the whole things work. That's how you can disable a radio button in a drop down using JavaScript.